It's the second chapter of the Seitei War flashback, and already I want another flashback that goes further back. Am I ungrateful? I know that's kind of an ungrateful thing to say. Whatever, this chapter has lots of Shiba and interesting stuff about Kagurabachi, I'm not gonna complain. I've also just realized I'm the same color as my curtain, that's whatever. Chapter begins with a single page of this guy who I want to talk about first, called Macho, okay? This guy, I think, is either one of two things. He is either dead, insanely dead, really, really very dead, or he is the fourth guy who knew Kunishige's location and is also a Kamanabi Council member. He is the guy shown in that kind of like four-way panel of Azami, Ichiki, Kudo, and, you know, Eye Patch, scary Eye Patch man with the white and black hair. Yeah, you see what I'm getting at? This is actually Prince Blade's theory, but it would make a lot of sense for that to be Machiro because, you know, the transition from him being a young boy here with that one little strand of hair to this like hardened, big, grown up like Kamanabi Council member would be a really great way of showing how like the Seitei War changed him as a person, right? And he grew up. Effectively. Their appearance is very similar in terms of their like facial features and hair, sure. Physically, not so much. But what I find really interesting is that guy is the only person in that four-way panel who has had no focus at all. He is the only guy who we don't have a name for. We haven't really put any focus on him in the main story. So it's like, why is he there with Azami, Ichiki, and Kudo, who have all had little bits of focus, some more than others, sure. And he knew Kunishige's location. What reason could there be for that? It would make a lot of sense if he is Machiro and we actually get that character's development in the Seitei War flashback, so we can cut straight back to the main story and then just kind of know who he is, right? That would be really dope and a very efficient way of storytelling, which is also how it seems we're going to be doing, at the very least, the Subaru sushi blade wielder and potentially the female as well. You know, we could get those two characters fleshed out in the Seitei War flashback, so we don't have to do a whole Samura kind of thing for them in the main story. A very efficient writing from Hokuzono, I appreciate it. But yeah, if it's not that, he's dead. He's so incredibly dead. It's actually ridiculous. This chapter begins and we see that there is a lab where they are experimenting on Datanseki, but basically all of the scientists are complete burgers and they can't do anything because they're useless. And then Shiba eats some noodles, which Hokuzono had no reason at all to be drawing his like little box of noodles that well. It just made me hungry. Kind of upset me, to be honest, but it's fine. And he's sat there. He's very nonchalant. He's so chill. He's a dumb kid. And he's like, yeah, I'm taking that, you know, potentially insane weapon of mass destruction to my childhood friend who's really good at making swords. And Machiro's like, you fucking idiot, bruv. What are you talking about? And I agree with him. I can't lie. Shiba is just being irresponsible here, which is really great. Like I said last chapter, I'm very interested in where we go with Shiba. But they get to Rokuhiro's place and oh my god, this guy is so different to Chihiro, but it also makes so much sense because when you look back on the first chapters of Kagurabachi and you see Chihiro and Kunishige live together, Chihiro was looking after him, right? This is so in character. This is Kunishige before Chihiro. He is nearly dying of starvation and his house is an absolute mess, right? He can't survive without Chihiro, which is so cool. It's like you see the before and after, right? Chihiro just literally looked after him his whole life. It's great. But this is why I want another flashback. I don't actually, but like, bruv, why are Kunishige and Shiba like long-time friends since childhood? Why did they grow up together? What's both of their like relation to the Soga clan? How do they end up in the positions they are now? You know what I mean? I want to know. I want to know. Please, I want to see it. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure we'll get some more stuff. Yeah, they find him half dead and Shiba's like, alright, bruv, listen. I'ma feed you if you tell me what this bit of that Anseki thing is, right? And immediately, Kunishige is locked in. Smash on the floor. Also, the art for the characters is really... Sorry, I'm too British. The art for the characters is really good in this chapter. I love how expressive Kunishige is. Again, he's very different to Chihiro. Very, very different. Smashes it, looks at the Datanseki, picks it up, and immediately clocks. He's like, yep, can't put no spirit energy in this, bruv, because I will go boom. And it's the Rokuhiro eye in effect. Obviously, we know Hokuzono loves a bit of Naruto, he loves a bit of JJK, so having a special eye being a big, important part of the series is no surprise to me at all. I really like that. And, yeah, Shiba's just like, see, Machiro? Haha, told you this guy's fucking good, innit? And he's the best. Yeah, which is, maybe he shouldn't look so smug, because Oppenheimer. Anyway, basically, Shiba's just saying, alright, come to the lab. We're gonna let you tell them how it's done because they're lost. They ain't got a clue what they're doing. And Kunishige is just like, that sounds long, bruv. Which is very interesting because that's when, you know, Shiba brings up that Chiaki will be there. And obviously Kunishige wants to see Chiaki, whether that's because he has a little bit of maybe a little bit of a crush, just a little bit, or because he's interested in something Chiaki can do, which I'll talk about in a second. That seems to be reason enough, kind of, to go, but then he offers him food, and immediately he pulls the Kuguri face and locks in and is like, alright, cool. And that's the idea, yeah. Machiro's like, this is terrible idea. Shiba's like, nah, it's fine, bruv, nothing will happen. And then says this guy's gonna be revolutionary, in which case he's absolutely right. He's completely right. He's dead on right. He's a little bit too right. That's the problem. He's way too right. So then we cut to the guy that Shiba was actually on the phone to last chapter, who I don't recognize, but maybe we know, maybe we don't. His name's Hasumi. He's there like, aye, Shiba, bruv, I beg, don't do nothing stupid. Like, please, just come back here, please. And then we get the introduction of Orita Subaru, or Subaru Orita, sushi chef, and also one of the 3 only national treasures of Japan as an artisan in swords making throughout history. Right, not even at the moment there are 3, it's like in Japanese history there are 3 and he is one of them, which does kind of give the idea that maybe this guy is the master of Kunishige, you know, because Kunishige, as explained earlier in the chapter, started an apprenticeship when he was like 12, a very brutal apprenticeship that had him coming home with things lodged in his head. Side note, but that panel where Shiba and Kunishige are there as kids really just gives Gon and Killua vibes. I don't know, it's just something about it. But yeah, there's a chance that maybe he's like the master and that's why he was trusted to take a blade. But what I find very interesting about this guy is that he too is obviously incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to being a swordsmith, so I'm very curious to see how the interaction kind of goes down there. Yeah, this guy seems like not interested in the slightest. He's there because he was asked to, and he just wants to go back and make some sushi. Now, this does kind of make a lot of sense because obviously he's the guy at the front of that panel, right? He seems to be the damage dealer, the deadly, like, proper dangerous. I reckon he's probably the strongest, to be honest, of the original 5 enchanted blade users. And even in real time, all he wants to do is, like, run his sushi restaurant, which, if we continue on to Shiba and Kunishige meeting Subaru Orita, that would explain why Shiba was sent to protect Subaru, because they have a stronger previous relationship than maybe Shiba did with some of the other bearers, right? So, yeah, there's a nice little tie-in, some setup for interesting stuff there. I don't want to dwell on it too much, to be honest, because I feel like I just want to let Hokuzono cook. But what I find very interesting is when Kunishige asks Shiba where he got this rock from, we get a very odd answer in which Shiba basically sits there and says, oh, Princess Soga's prophesy. I say prophesy because it's spelled ESY instead of prophecy. I looked it up because I'm illiterate, and it's pronounced prophesy, and this is kind of similar to prophecy, but it's like the action of speaking a prophecy, I guess. Like, it is basically just it's related to prophecy, future fortune telling, future stuff based on magical information, and it's a very sorcerer magic prophecy future telling kind of thing. But it's a weird interaction, and it does make me wonder if it's deliberate or like a translation thing, because the question is, where did you get your hands on this? And Shiba answers with Princess Soga's prophesy, which would explain how he knew it was there, but not where. It's not a place, obviously, right? So it's like he's kind of dodging the question, but I imagine it's like Chiaki has some kind of prophecy thing, which I'm obviously in the Soga chapter there was some prophecy. I don't know, I don't want to get into it too much, I'm just pointing it out, it's interesting. So that might be why Kunishige is interested in speaking to Chiaki. They both seem to know Chiaki very well, so that does already tie Kunishige to the Soga clan, because Kunishige says Chiaki. Yeah, she's got it rough too. Obviously, I want to know more about that, duh. Yeah, I found that very interesting. That is the chapter though. Lots of information, lots of setup and build up, and we're introducing Subaru Orita, which obviously I think we all saw coming. That's pretty much it. The guy looks like King Bradley. He looks dope. He's got an eye missing already. Yeah, he's gonna be dope for sure, and I can't wait to see what Hokuzono cooks up. But that's it for the video. I don't really have much more to say than that, to be honest. I just think the Chiaki thing is very interesting specifically, and especially the dynamic between Kunishige and Shiba, with how we go from here to the Oppenheimer moment of, oh my god, I created weapons of mass destruction, and it's all kind of Shiba's fault. Yeah. Oh, and I want to know more about the Rokuhiro Eye. And Macho. Okay, I guess there is a lot to talk about. Whatever, you get the point. I'm gonna let the art cook a bit before I start getting crazy with it. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of been a simple one. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit. Oh, I love the chapter, by the way. It's dope. I think my highlight is like seeing what Kunishige's life was like before Chihiro. He was a mess. But yeah, that's it.